why do you think it's important to talk about men's mental health? That's an interesting one. I think I have my own narrative for that, and I've listened to quite a few men throughout my job and throughout kind of what I do, and there seems to be this very old stigma, kind of back when boys wore blue and girls wore pink, that boys don't feel. In fact, if you want to cry, I'll give you something to cry about, kind of. But it was kind of installed in me from a young age that men don't cry. Men don't have emotions. Men don't feel. But that's simply not true. And unfortunately, what that can tend to do is your true feelings tend to manifest inside and start causing some poor mental health later on in life. Yeah. So it's important to talk about men's mental health because it exists. It's a thing. And there is probably enough men out there at the moment that are under the impression that they can't speak up. What does looking after your mental health mean to you? Wow, taking my meds, taking my meds pretty regularly, if I can, which can be difficult to do, keep on top of. What does looking after my mental health mean to me? Nowadays, it means reaching out. Nowadays, it means putting my hand up and saying, I can't deal with this by myself. I need help. I can't dig myself out of this hole. And in fact, my attempt to dig myself out of this hole is actually making me quite short and maybe nasty with the people around me. And all I have to do is ask for help. How do you care? How do you take care of your own well-being, especially during stressful times? Humour. I take care of my own well-being through humour, by being a little bit of a fool. I find that kind of helps me a little bit socially because I can be a bit of a Debbie Downer, when I start talking about the past and my mental health. It's some people's past, some people's backgrounds are slightly more traumatic, or they can seem traumatic. So how do I take care of my own well-being? Just through humour, even in the stressful times, just trying to look at what the challenge is and make light of it, make fun of it. We're all in the same boat, kind of thing. Why do you think some men still find it hard to talk about how they're feeling? I will reference the very first question, to be honest. So I believe, why do I think that men find it hard to talk about how they're feeling? That from a young age, we're told we're not allowed to. Now, that's not exclusively, I don't think that's exclusive for all men, but I think a majority, no one tells you how to be a parent, do they? You kind of just replicate what you saw in the past. And believe it or not, I'm kind of aware enough to know that my parents, our parents, were a softer version of their parents, so on and so forth. So I still think that men find it difficult because of the standards that are kind of imposed in us from a very young age. I am the problem solver, not the problem haver. What would you say to a mate who's struggling but doesn't feel able to speak up? I don't have any mates, unfortunately. I'm just too weird. But if I was lucky enough to have a friend, what would you say to a mate who is struggling but doesn't feel able to speak up? What you're feeling is valid. What you're feeling is okay. It's not wrong for you to be feeling what you're currently feeling. It'd actually be a bit weird if you were feeling nothing at all right now in this situation. So I would normalize, I would rationalize as much as you can rationalize emotion, and let them know that once I've done my piece in rationalization, I would just be here. You can just talk to me if you need to.